guys, let's talk about Ironheart. She just got added to the contest this month, and boy, does she bring a lot of utility with her. She's Incinerate immune with armor up. She has crit resistance, frostbite immune, regeneration, and a bunch of other interesting abilities that I'm sure you're gonna like. But first, let's discuss her combo. Now, picking her up right out the package, she was easy to play. There was no clunkiness, no double hits or anything. Just a regular 5-hit combo. And you apply debuffs to the opponent depending on which debuffs you decided to pick. As you can see, I picked Incinerate, but you also can pick Rupture. I think she was actually kind of like a counter to Onslaught, but we'll get into that later on in the video. But yeah, she's really easy to play. Doesn't take much to apply her debuffs. You don't need to do medium combos or anything of that nature. You literally just can pick her up and go. That's all you got to do. Like, I didn't have a problem with playing her at all. Like, there was no complicated mechanics to access her damage. Just boom, just throw your SP1, SP2, and bam. Let's talk about her strengths. One of her strengths she has is her ruptures. Her rupture repulsor debuff choice allows her medium attacks and dexing properly to inflict ruptures, as well as other special attacks to deal bursts of physical damage associated with the rupture debuffs. And boy, does she stack those ruptures. It's not hard at all to do. Again, just do your regular 5-hit combo and those ruptures were stacked by themselves. And boom, when you throw that SP2, bro, look at the damage. It's quite emotional. She also has Incinerates. Her Incinerate repulsor debuff choice allows her medium attacks and dexing properly to inflict Incinerate debuffs, as well as her special attacks deal a burst of energy damage associated with the Incinerate debuffs. And the great thing about it, like dexing also will sometimes imply an Incinerate on the opponent. And how often do you get rewarded for dexing in this game? So you definitely got to take that and use that to your advantage. But her damage, I gotta admit, I was impressed with it. Like, she has some pretty nice damage, especially with all those debuffs that she put on Incinerate or Rupture, and there aren't many champions that are Rupture immune. Like, Onslaught may be Rupture immune. I mean, Incinerate immune, but he's not debuff immune. Also, another one of our strengths is Armor Ups. This is a throwback to tech classes and Iron Suits in general, having Armor Up as a gameplay mechanic. A lot of her immunities and some additional gameplay effects will play off of this binary effect, so Armor Up, Armor, Shatter, and Break will be a useful counter to this champion. So yeah, as you can see, one of her weaknesses is Armor, Break, and Shatter. So her Armor Ups give her, I think, 3 immunities. So if you have her Armor Up, you have some immunities, and we'll talk about that moving on. Her last great ability is Tracking. Tracking is a strong mechanic that'll let Ironheart bypass miss, hitting opponents that generally benefit from this gameplay effect. This would be a strong utility for some meta counters she comes across. Plus, the ability to parry non-contact hits and unblockable special attacks from mutants is going to benefit her well. This offense ability accuracy at this point is just the icing on the cake. So you can't miss all opponents, I don't believe, but you can miss mutants. Like, she just dominates against mutants. But let's talk about her weakness. So we already discussed one. It was Armor, Shatter / Break. Seeing that a lot of things trigger off her armor ups being an active on Ironheart, being able to prevent her utilizing these gameplay effects will be a giant weakness for her. So if you can armor break her, all of her immunities basically go away. So keep that in mind. Like, Medusa is going to counter her pretty well. Unblockable and Unstoppable. Now, she can block unblockable hits from opponents, from mutant opponents, but she can't block Unstoppable. Not giving her a chance to stop you or get a hit in without getting herself will be a detrimental effect, as she's a glass cannon. As you can see, like, if you take away her armor up, she's just not that girl. And as you can see right here, Unblockable, she can't stop that against opponents that aren't mutant. So if you have an Unblockable on yourself, she will get hit. So you have to be mutant to be able to be, a mutant to be able to block her. Also, Special Lock. Her special one carries her gameplay loop and feeds into a special attack too. So special locking her will stop her from generating mass amounts of damage in her kit and shut down her debuff loop. So yeah, if you can power lock her or power steal her or reverse her power gain, she's gonna be shut down. Also, she's not really good with evade at all. Like, as you can see here, even though this is a mutant champion, she just does not counter evade. Even with the tracking debuff, it counters miss, not evade. So keep that in mind. Like, if you're facing Nightcrawler here, she's not going to be the ideal counter. She can still do the fight. It will definitely take longer. As you can see, I'm just getting hit and it's just not that good. Also, she's tagged as metal. So Magneto is going to be a good counter for her because, you know, with the magnetize, it's going to kind of shut down her abilities. She still will gain her armor ups. I don't know if they will be as consistent. And as you see right there, she just parried the non-contact hit. So, yeah. Next up, let's talk about her immunities. Now, like I said before, when she has an armor up, so keep that in mind. When she has an armor up, she's immune to reverse controls. So she can dex this regularly, like normally. And I don't think it has to be a mutant. I think she's just immune to reverse controls. Also, she's immune to incinerate when she has an armor up. And I want to definitely reiterate that, like, she has to have an armor up. So if she doesn't have an armor up, she's not going to be immune to incinerate. And lastly, she's also immune to cold snap and frostbite when she has an armor up. And I know I keep repeating that, but I don't want anyone to be misconstrued here. Like, oh, she's just immune. No, you need to have armor up for her to be immune. Let's talk about her awakened ability. Now, she does have a really good awakened ability. And she kind of does need to be awakened. Once per fight, when Ironheart drops below 50% health, she will gain a regeneration buff, healing 35% of her maximum health over 10 seconds. While she has this buff, she gains plus 35 crit resistance. Also, when she has an armor up effect, Ironheart gains a Bulwark passive, increasing block proficiency by plus 25%. And lastly, when she's awakened, her repulsors debuff gain 22% increased potency. Now that's at high sig. This right here is Sig 1, so as you can see, it's not going to be as potent. Here she is at Sig, 101? And her potency for her debuffs are a little bit more potent. So again, the higher the Sig, the better. Now, would I use an Awakening Gem on her? Probably not. Here's her Prestige, 18,222. I don't think I would use Awakening Gem on her. If I'll wait for the dupe. Maybe if it was Tech, sure. But I wouldn't use generic stones. Like, I would just gain those 6 naturally. Let's talk about her synergies. She has some pretty decent synergies. She has 2, Wakanda Strong. Black Panther first and final hits a special 1, have a 100% chance to be a critical hit. Shuri, special attack 1 hits, have a 30% chance to inflict a personal shock. That's a really good synergy. And Ironheart, final hit of a special 1 grants an unstoppable buff for 8 seconds. So, not that bad. She also has synergies with Spider-Man, Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, and Dust, Vision. Spider-Man, Miss Marvel, and Dust, final hit of the special 1 pauses all personal debuffs and furies for 3 seconds. Ironheart and Vision reduce the duration of armor up cooldowns by -2 seconds. So pretty decent synergies. I would definitely use that Shuri's synergy. I'm probably going to be using that synergy a lot because you only can have more, you never can have too many shocks. And she also has this synergy, basically with Iron Man and Iron Man Infinity War. All champions gain plus 6% health. Not bad. It's okay. Enemies with Captain Marvel, Infamous Iron Man, Ultron, Rhino, and Dr. Octopus. Synergy champions. All champions gain plus 5% critical rating. So, not that bad. I mean, again, I'm pretty sure no one's really going to run those synergies because they're just like, you know, they don't really, you know, benefit them all that much. But I mean, plus 5% critical rating isn't that bad, right? I'm okay with that. And, you know, I'm pretty sure someone can find a use for that. Anyway, let's talk about her on defense. Now, on defense, she wasn't bad at all. If you can nullify her armor up, she's pretty much shut down. Like, I'm pretty sure everyone's probably going to have to get used to her animations, but after you get used to it and you get the timing down, I don't think she's going to be a problem on defense at all. I think people will probably use her offensively because she does have a lot of burst damage and those debuffs, the ruptures and the incinerates, but defensively, you can pretty much you can't use anyone. I don't think Archangel's going to be as effective against her, but I think she's not bleed or poison immune, so you could, but it might be a tough fight. I went in here with Hercules, so like even a 4-star Hercules against a 7-star, he pretty much destroys her. So again, not really the ideal defensive champion, but I think she was definitely built more so for offense. Like right here, look at the damage we're going to be doing with a 4-star against her. Like, not bad damage at all. That is not bad. And then I went in here with Magneto because, again, I think this brings some relevancy back to Magneto because he would just destroy her with maybe 1 SP3 because he's tagged as metal. So, not bad. Again, I wouldn't use her on defense. I would use her definitely offensively in Battlegrounds. Let's discuss her relics. I found 2 good relics for her. One was with Sentinel. This Sentinel relic really adds to the incinerate potency and the efficacy in her kit. So if you have a Sentinel relic, I would definitely entertain putting it on her because she definitely does benefit from it, especially with all those incinerates she loves to apply. Another relic is the Green Goblin. Being able to throw specials more often with this relic will increase her damage per second greatly, as she utilizes her SP1 and SP2 to do most of her damage. Also pays off the power drain in her kit. So yeah, Green Goblin and Sentinel, the ideal relics for her. Let's talk about Masteries. Now, I found 3 good Masteries for her. Despair, reducing the healing and the regeneration potency per debuff effect on the opponent, can be used to shut down these effects entirely if need be, as her debuff application is super reliable. Also, Collar Tech, which I haven't seen anyone use. Combined with the suppression she has via her heavy attacks, this can be combined to be a very strong power control utility. And last but not least, Inequity. The reduction of enemies' attacks will also almost always be maxed at 36% with her effective application of debuff. This is a strong utility and will reduce 1/3 of the damage she's taking almost always. So yeah, those are the 3 Masteries. So what are my overall thoughts on this champion? I gotta admit, I like her offensively. Now, I would not place her on defense at all because I think that's pretty much a guaranteed win. And she's kind of really easily countered in my opinion, but offensively she has a lot of damage, and the fact that she has ruptures, I think she would be a pretty good counter to Onslaught because she can parry non-contact hits, and you already know that Onslaught's first hit and first medium, so first light and first medium is non-contact, so I think she's kind of like the ideal for Onslaught counter. So we finally have an Onslaught counter in the game after what, 1 month? But I don't know if I would use her in long form content either. I would probably primarily use her in Battlegrounds. And I would definitely take advantage of that Shuri synergy because having more shocks is never a bad thing. But I do think she's a good champion. I would rank her up. I'd probably take her to rank 4. I wouldn't take her to rank 5 right away. I don't think I would ascend her either. Not because she doesn't deserve to be ascended, but I would rather use that on a different tech. And I'd rather have a champion that's good offensively and defensively, but overall, good champion, and I would definitely invest in her. So yeah, GG's Caban. But if you did like this video, please hit that like button, and for anyone new here, if you can hit that subscribe button, I greatly appreciate it. Y'all take care. Have a great and wonderful day.